Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So the pre-swell pump has begun. XRP up 0.002 cents in the last 5 hours. Obviously, this is just satire from XRP Noob and Investor. That's at XRP Noob 1 on Twitter. Really spelling it out very effectively in this tweet, I find. We're hoping for a swell pump, and there still is time for that, guys. XRP on the daily, we're still seeing an upward trend, okay, from the September 24th dump. We are still seeing upward momentum, albeit we're not seeing very strong movement. We're seeing steady movement, but some people are suggesting that this was the pre-swell pump, okay? Back on September 17th and 18th, we saw XRP go from about 26 cents all the way up to 0.327. Okay, so a bit of an increase there. Nothing to write home about necessarily, but could that have been the pre-swell pump? Then the market got decimated here, the entire market. So what we ended up seeing was we saw it plummet down to the 22-cent level before it started climbing back up. It is a possibility. This is definitely a possibility. No one is ruling it out. Thanks so much, XRP Noob, for the bit of humor, the bit of satire. We are still waiting for the trend to move up. Maybe when the week starts next week, we will see some actual movement up for XRP. Who knows? We could even hit that 50-cent mark again. I think a lot of people in the XRP community would find it very acceptable if we saw XRP go back up to even just the 50-cent mark during swell. I think that would be definitely considered an XRP pre-swell pump. And as we continue with the news, guys, how many of you guys are Poloniex customers? So Poloniex shuts down trading for U.S. customers, heads towards rebranding. So this will affect U.S. Poloniex customers. Cryptocurrency exchange Poloniex has closed its trading services for the U.S. residents on November 1st. The official announcement read on Twitter, important. U.S. customers are no longer able to trade on Poloniex. U.S. customers should stop depositing immediately and withdraw their assets by December 15th, 2019. From PolonieXUS.Circle.com. So Poloniex had earlier announced in a series of tweets that it would be spinning out from its parent company Circle in a bid to innovate for global customers. So according to the platform, its new exchange called Polo Digital Assets Limited will be backed by a major investment group. U.S. customers, however, will not be part of the spin-out. So this is bittersweet news, bitter more so bitter for U.S. customers, sweet for the crypto space as a whole, just because what they're saying here is that they need to rebrand and they need to expand because they realize that the crypto space is going to gear up, or at least their opinion of the crypto space is that it's gearing up for another bull run. And whether that happens 6 months from now or 12 months from now, a real big push for cryptocurrencies, they just want to be ready. So obviously there are some issues in the United States with the clearance of cryptocurrency regulations, and they just want to cross their T's, dot their I's. Obviously not great for US customers. Guys, I use Binance. I have an affiliate link in the description of my video if you guys don't have a Binance account. I like Binance just because it's very versatile, and in the last bull run, I was able to do everything that I would otherwise when the market was flat, meaning there were no hangups, there were no wait lines, there were no queues for customer service. Binance always really helped me out. You can open an account with my affiliate link if you guys want. You don't have to. I do like Binance, and whenever I see these kinds of articles with regards to any kind of an exchange having to let down some of their customers, I always like to try to see if I can give an alternative and relay some of my positive experiences to the rest of the crypto space. So Binance is really good. Anyway, Ripple exec slams Stablecoins Are Securities Act, claims Libra accelerated crypto talk. So this from Ripple's manager of government relations, Ron Hammond. While speaking at San Francisco Blockchain Week 2019, he said, I think whatever anyone's view is on Libra, so they're talking about Libra still, and the fact that they kind of just came into the market thinking they could do whatever they wanted, Facebook, and it has disrupted the already disrupted cryptocurrency space. It was fragile to begin with. Regulators were very skeptical of cryptocurrencies and want to review the cryptocurrency space. Obviously, some are better than others, some are sneakier than others, and sneakier is probably not the right word, but every cryptocurrency is created differently. Some are created to help the ecosystem, and some are created to thwart authority, is essentially what I'm saying. Anyway, he says, I think whatever anyone's view is on Libra, the fact fact of the matter is, at least in DC, it has accelerated conversation for crypto, encrypted regulation, and blockchain as a whole, which is really exciting because that's been cool to see that it comes to the forefront of a lot of committees. I mean, the concerns are warranted, but my major concern is that the lack of education leads to bad legislation, and that is ultimately what we're worried about. We don't want all cryptocurrencies to be painted with one brush, as Brad Garlinghouse has mentioned in the past. Hammond criticized the bill titled Stablecoins Are Securities Act and blamed the lack of education on the cryptocurrency and digital assets industry. This proposed legislation appeared to be a response to Libra's introduction and has not been received well by the community, according to Ripple's manager of government relations, though members who participated in such bills have their rightful concerns about Libra. He believes that the legislation is rushed. Hammond stated, "We want to make sure the members of Congress are fully educated so that they can pass well thought out legislation like the Token Taxonomy Act. I'm not saying it has to take 2 years worth of crafting, but we want to make sure that everyone is knowledgeable so that they know the ramifications of passing laws such as these." Of course, Ripple has it in their best interest for these laws to be crafted exactly correctly so that Ripple technology and XRP cryptocurrency can thrive within the current economic structure. This is the end goal for Ripple. Ripple wants to dominate the world of legal finance with cross-border transactions first as their first vertical, and then continue on to other verticals, of course. So this is all really important, of course, getting it all right. And Libra is just that annoying kid that came into the playground, causing trouble and problems for the rest of the kids on the playground and the recess monitor or whoever comes and, is getting everybody in trouble now. That's the analogy I'm going to use for that. Anyway, XRP investors holding on tight as data reveals devotion to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and fiat currencies. So this analysis from Daily FX IG shows that more than 96% of XRP traders are indeed long, holding on for the long haul. That's the highest number on the list, above every other cryptocurrency asset and fiat currency measured by the financial outlet. So guys, Ethereum comes in number 2, Litecoin at 3, and Bitcoin at 5. But it's showing that 96.8% of XRP holders are indeed in it, guys, for the long haul. We see the future. There are a few people in the space that want to make a quick buck. I always say, in a spec market, anything can happen. I mean, there is the possibility you can make a quick buck if the market shoots up. It will come back down. That will indeed be speculative trading. However, for Ripple and XRP, that is a long play. As we all know, I'm not going to ramble on more about this because I know you guys already know that. I found this interesting, though. This I saw on Twitter from TollupXUL. That's at TollupXUL1 on Twitter. And he tagged me in this, not a new tune, but the law of the fittest for banks and institutions alike. Implement ODL advice only. And this from CNBC. This talking about the economy and how banks are now in a do or die moment. Report warns that banks need to reinvent themselves to survive the next downturn. So I'm not going to go into the entire interview, guys. It's quite lengthy. I will link it in the description if you want to read it. But essentially the summary is this, with a very fragile economy comes the possibility of a real severe economic downturn. We saw it in 2008 with the mortgage crisis, and the stock market just crashed, and that had a ripple effect, no pun intended, around the world. Okay, there are a lot of countries around the world that do business with the United States, and so it affected their economies. The US dollar went down, and so there was a point in time when the Canadian to US dollar was at par. Yes, at par. That is when I got into the stock market at the very bottom. Well, maybe not the very bottom, very, very bottom. I waited a couple of years for it to rebound a bit. Did very well with that. But that's not the point. The point is that the banks didn't see it coming before, and now we have the knowledge. And banks should understand that they are not going to be immune if something like this happens again. So this report goes on to talk about negative interest rates and how it's not sustainable, and even how low interest rates are not sustainable for banks. Low interest means low profits. And also the fact that there is something called the Amazonization that is occurring. So in a separate report last month, PwC Luxembourg and Development Agency Luxembourg for Finance said Europe's banks and wealth managers should proactively embrace Amazonization and the shift in power to consumers driven by online platforms. So guys, this talks about fintech companies They spell it out up here. Fintech, financial technology, is starting to dominate the space. So people are now using things like Apple Pay, Google Pay, anything pay in order to make transactions now. Whereas before, customers would use banks to facilitate transactions, linked to their bank account. Now you can essentially use your credit card, link it directly to an online app that's connected to your phone and make payments. Well, this means banks are losing money, and banks need to essentially prepare for this. So anyway, guys, just wanted to bring this to your attention. And ultimately, so I keep getting a little sidetracked. The bigger point here, though, is that Ripple technology will help banks do this, at least in some part, so that they can at least have the upper hand against some of this fintech technology that is coming through fast and furiously. A millennial generation is not going to care whether they use this bank, that bank, the other bank, Apple Pay, Google Pay, whatever. What they care about is immediacy. And that is one thing Ripple can help banks accomplish. Cross-border transactions immediately, at least for now. So thanks so much, TalibXUL on Twitter, for posting this. It is a real eye-opener, right? We're not seeing it right this second, but I'll just put the S&P 500 on here. It's looking like the stock market is making new highs, and that is true. When you look at the S&P, I'll put it on the monthly just to kind of give you guys some perspective, right? There was some turbulence here, but we are making new highs. The S&P 500 is, at least. And a lot of this hinges on China-US relations. Not all of it. I mean, it's a bigger picture than that. Nevertheless, something we should be paying attention to and possibly be concerned about. Finally here, I saw this from @KingBlue_XRP on Twitter. My XRP thought of the day. Lies and misinformation feels like the state of the world today. Since I have gotten into crypto, it feels like everything has turned into some crazy conspiracy theory. Was it always so, or has crypto opened my eyes to how effing nuts people are? I know I'm speaking to the audience who he's suggesting are crazy, but do you think we're effing nuts? I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.